So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 214th episode. In the last 213 episodes, more than 3,000 school leaders have participated on this very platform, shared their ideas, opinions, innovations, and what all new are they doing in the education space. तो नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक्स के 214वें एपिसोड में। पिछले 213 एपिसोड में करीबन 3,000 से ज्यादा शिक्षाविदों ने इसी प्लेटफॉर्म पर शेयर किया कि वो शिक्षा को कैसे बदल रहे हैं और शिक्षा उन्हें कैसे बदल रही है। बिफोर वी स्टार्ट द सेशन, जस्ट सम ग्राउंड रूल्स फॉर द ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक. Think of this as a speaking sprint. It's not a marathon. So the speaking time is limited. Once your speaking time is over, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity crisp and entertaining for everyone. तो पूरे ड्यूरेशन में इस बात का जरूर से ध्यान रखें कि जब भी आपका समय खत्म होने वाला होगा, उसके जस्ट थोड़े समय पहले या लास्ट 30 सेकेंड्स जब बचे होंगे, you'll see me on the screen and my hand up in the air. So once you see my hand up in the air, it's time for you to conclude in the next 30 seconds. After that, you might get muted. Secondly, this is a bilingual platform. You can use English or Hindi, any of these two languages. But try using any one of these. Don't use a third one because I might not get it. ये बाइलिंगुअल प्लेटफॉर्म है और कभी भी ज्ञान जो है वो भाषा से जज नहीं किया जा सकता। इसी वजह से आप भाषा कोई भी इस्तेमाल करें, ज्ञान पहुंच जाना चाहिए, जिस वजह से हम लोग यहाँ इकट्ठे हुए हैं। So the next 60 minutes that you are here with us, it's going to be a roller coaster ride, I hope, and we'll be having some amazing, weird, good, interesting ideas coming on the topic for today. We have an amazing lineup of guests today also with us. So let's start this 214th episode and let's talk about how do you improve concentration in the age of notifications. जब आप सुबह उठें किस नोटिफिकेशन की आवाज से, जब आप रात में सोने जाए नोटिफिकेशन की आवाज से, और रात में दिन में जब आप कुछ भी करने बैठे, हमेशा आपका फोकस जो है वो किसी न किसी रिंगिंग बेल की तरफ रहे, तब आप कॉन्सेंट्रेट या फोकस कैसे करेंगे? एंड आप एज एन एडल्ट कुड बी डूइंग इट, बट हाउ विल टीनेजर्स और स्टूडेंट्स बी एबल टू डू इट, और व्हाट स्पेसिफिक स्टेप्स मस्ट बी टेकन इन द एजुकेशन स्पेस टू टिपिकली guarantee this that focus still remains the focus. So thank you so much everyone for joining us. Let's start talking about improving concentration in the age of notifications. Let me invite the first speaker for today to give a bird's eye view, which we normally do. हम लोग कोशिश यही करते हैं before we start talking to the school leaders, पहले एक external view and then going into the people who are actually working with the students. So a very warm welcome to Mr. Gurnam Jagota, the lead for outreach from the Shiv Nadar Institution of Eminence, Delhi NCR. So Gurnam ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Daksh. Glad to be here. And you were talking about ringing bells. When I look back, I think the most important thing when we were in school was getting the period over. So the class over, that was the ringing bell that has now been transformed into mobile phones, I believe. So, but yeah, thank you so much. Glad to be here. And of course, it is an important aspect in today's times, given we are the amount of technology that we have available on our hands. So it's not easy. I mean, हमारे टाइम पे शायद distraction थोड़े कम थे. Television, maybe landline phones, if I can recall correctly. So, but yeah, times have changed and we are glued to technology. But with that in mind, I think from a student perspective, of course, it's become harder. But it's important that they understand that it's not important to be attentive or concentrate for a longer period of time. I mean, in classrooms, I'm sure that my teachers in schools would agree that they switch off in 15 minutes. Beyond that, then they are gone. So it's important. And the other aspect is, of course, as educators and enablers, we also need to keep that in mind, that we keep them engaged. Right. So that's one. The other thing is, of course, I think some amount of physical activity, which keeps their mind fresh and thinking. So it could be a walk, it could be playing a sport that they like to play. That becomes very, very important. The other aspect of mental well-being also comes in, where, yoga or meditation starting early. We probably do not take it very early with in our schools. Whenever I meet schools, I check with them whether they are having yoga, meditation, or maybe, of course, the sports facilities are always there with them. So that's very, very important. And from my perspective, I think it's self-discipline also becomes important. the surroundings that you are there where you are studying, they need to be very clean in terms of only the study material has to be there and nothing else. Of course, when you are studying, you need to switch off your electronic devices. But right now, a lot of learning is happening on electronic devices, right? So it's becoming difficult to, switch them off. But it's like, switch off from the likes of social media, WhatsApp, Instagrams, and Snapchats, because those are the distractions nowadays. So I think that becomes very, very important. But it's also about prioritizing yourself, right? So that becomes important. So I think from a student perspective, you need to prioritize yourself. And of course, if you have friends, buzzing you, you need to tell them, okay, wait, I'll join you in so and so time, because right now I'm busy, because I have to prioritize my work or my studies right now. Yeah. So that's it from my side.
Thank you so much, Gurnam ji. Prioritizing yoga, meditation, and I think you talked about that 15-minute attention span that a student normally has in a classroom. So just a weird idea. Let's try to know it from the school leaders that can we have 15-minute periods? Can we just limit learning to 15-minute sessions and have so many 15-minute sessions in the whole school schedule? क्या हम सच में 15 मिनट का क्लासरूम या पीरियड रख सकते हैं? क्या ये कोई संभावना भी है या नहीं? We'll try to know it from the school leaders. But before we actually go to them, very important element, क्या हर 15 मिनट में थोड़ा सा योगा, थोड़ी सी एक्सरसाइज लिटरली घुसाई जा सकती है क्लास में? Is there some space for that? Or how does concentration really come into the calculation? Because right now when we work with so many teenagers, we run an institution called World Teen Parliament, इतने सारे बच्चों के साथ काम करते हैं, what we feel is there needs to be serious work on prioritizing. Now it's a very critical skill. So let's now know it from the school leaders. What do they think, that how can concentration be improved? A very warm welcome to Mrs. Bharti Tanweer, the principal from Gangothri International Public School from Bengaluru, Karnataka. Bharti ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
Namaste ji. See, we all agree that children's attention span is not more than 15 to 20 minutes. There is no doubt in it. And generally in most of the schools, period is 35 to 40 minutes. In some of the schools, even 15 minutes. So generally as teachers, what we feel is that we should divide that period into some small subunits. That there is some time when teacher is teaching, there is some time when there is a peer activity, there is some time when there is a group activity, or we are showing them something on the video, or they are developing some writing skills, or certain other interactive activities like some physical activities, because physical discipline also leads to mental discipline. तो थोड़ा सा उनको अगर हम छोटी छोटी चीजें जो भी हम स्कूल में सिखाते हैं बच्चों को डिसिप्लिन से मुतालिक, वो सभी चीजों पे अगर वो ध्यान देंगे तो बिल्कुल ही जैसे अभी हमारे को होस्ट ने बोला, तो बच्चे अपना पूरा का पूरा ध्यान जो है वो पढ़ाई पर लगा पाएंगे. But I say salute to the children nowadays, because if I was a student now, in this era, if I was a student, I might not would have passed itself. I'm a principal of a school. I'm telling you honestly, the distractions are too many. They are too many. So these children are handling their social media and still getting 90% and above. It's hats off to them. They know how to manage and balance their life. Then we can teach them. But definitely all these things should be on mute. Notifications or their social media platforms and all, especially during the studies time, they should not be drifting between the two. If they need to stay focused to, when they are studying, stay focused to the academics only. That is my point of view.
Thank you so much, Bharti ji. I think a very important observation that can be taken ahead in the discussion कि अगर आज के principals आज की age में होते तो शायद वो खुद school pass ना करते. So this is an interesting thing that's come to the discussion, that if you're really able to manage notifications and still get that 9-pointer, what you say, all these straight A's, then that's already an A in life that you've got. You're able to manage both the things at the same time. But yes, this is a challenge that needs to be catered head on, because just getting those numbers and managing social media, how do you put yourself off? वो notifications क्या बंद कर देंगे तो काम चल जाएगा? क्या वो आप online पढ़ते हुए, when you're studying on a device, how do you get away with those notifications and still keep your focus on? So thank you so much, Bharti ji. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Janet George, the principal for Sri Ravishankar Vidya Mandir from Bangalore, Karnataka. Janet ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening once again. And I too agree with Miss Bharti. If I was a student, I would have, I don't know whether I would have been able to pass. So really, whenever we ask children, not to use gadgets, keep it away. So a lot of, because the childhood, it's been drained, their knowledge is moving towards something else. Okay, so which they need not have to view. So such kind of things also will be popping in, and it's really a big challenge for them. What is right and what is wrong? That's a big question, and it's very difficult for parents also to manage kids. Every child from the age of 2 are, addicted to this. When I ask them. If I ask them, okay, how much time when they come for interview, that is for admissions, final talk, then when I ask, mother will coolly say, 2 hours, 1 or 2 hours daily. So you just imagine where the child's brain is completely, lost. So I feel that always I suggest to parents, our own children, as well as to the parents who come for admission, I always tell them that send them for all kinds of physical activities. This will divert the attention towards many things. Physical activity, it's very limited these days. So when we say physical activity, there may not be big ground, but they can even think of, swimming. There could be facilities in many places, swimming, or it could be they can be sent for dancing. There are so many such coaching classes, or any sort of music or instrumental. So diverting their attention is very, very important. At least in a week, 4 hours a week, or if it is a sports facility, if they have at least 40 to 1 hour, 40 minutes to 1 hour, if they spend in playing, they lose, they become they become exhausted. So their time will be limited for them to play with the gadgets. And my request to all the parents is that they should not use the gadgets when the child is there. See, if daddy can use, mother can use, why not me? Child will not understand. You don't use. This is not for children. What do you mean by that? So this is a great thing that we need to tell the parents, keep away the mobile when the child is there at home. Their WhatsApps and their all such kind of activities by using the mobile can be minimized. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think you added 2 very important elements to the discussion. The first one being the curation of content. What content should be seen, what must not be seen, and through by a child. वो content moderation या curation कोई नहीं कर रहा है, तो क्या बच्चा खुद वो कर रहा है? Is that wisdom in place? And second very important element, how do you give them the right kind of direction या stimuli कि आप उनकी energy को गलत जगह लगने की जगह किसी सही जगह आप लगवा पाएं, और उस it also is so encouraging or rather lucrative for them that they want to choose that option, because the challenge right now is everything else is super lucrative and meaningful stuff is not. So how do you drive them towards meaningful stuff is the next challenge. So thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Prem Kashyap, the founder and chairman for the Pestle School from Mussoorie, Diversion Road, Dehradun. Prem sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much for giving us the time. I feel it is very important. All depends on the teacher. How does he manages her class in that part? No doubt, whatever the earlier speakers have spoken, that is very relevant. The child cannot pay attention regularly for 3 hours to 4 hours. Even we are talking about a child who is of a 2-year-old, or even of the child of the 6-year-old in that part. But all depends on the teacher. How does she make her subject matter interesting? I feel in our school, what we pay attention is know your child. Every teacher should know her child very well, and individual attention has to be paid to every child in that part. If we know your child very well, what are his habits, how long duration he can sit down properly, or what is the time when we can take him out of the class and have some activity. Our school campus is about 250 bighas, and we have got all the activities: dancing, shooting, skating, boxing, swimming, horse riding, everything is there in that campus. So even to the child of a lower classes, we take them out and give them a feel. Yes, when you grow up in class 1 or 2 and 3, you will be able to participate. Even a horse riding is even being taught to the class 3, nursery class children in that part with the help of the rider, and 2 people take care of that part. But very important factor is that a teacher should know the child very well, and whether when they are not in a learning mood at the time in the beginning, then it depends on the teacher, that the teacher also play with the students, sing with the children, and of course, as earlier speaker has said, some activity like games and sport, and the music or dance or drama, something should be done in that part. So I feel that personally, it all depends on if a teacher is properly trained in lower classes very well, she can manage her well in that part. And we find nowadays how the teacher, personal appearance, means how does the teacher look like in that part. With the small children, it is very important that children feel that children are more comfortable with the teachers who are very polite, very nice in talking, very lovable in that part. And if teacher take care of the children in that way, simultaneously the children also like the teachers.
Thank you so much, sir. With such a sprawling campus, I think yes, your students might be getting good exposure to sports और बहुत सारी activities वो बिल्कुल कर पा रहे होंगे. And I think it's very important what you talked about. Teachers' body language, teachers' appearance, क्या perception खड़ा हो रहा है बच्चे के दिमाग में is very critical to his focus as well. Are you attractive enough? Not only in your looks, but is your content attractive enough? Is your delivery that attractive enough? Are you able to hold your audience? So that means that are you a little bit of a theater artist when you are a teacher? If you have those skills, that matters a lot, or they become super critical when we talk of focus in the classroom. So let me invite the next speaker for today. Thank you so much, sir. A very warm welcome to Ms. Renu Sehgal, the principal for GD Goenka School from Greater Noida. Renu ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Renu Sehgal from GD Goenka, Swarnagri, Greater Noida. I would say, like earlier speakers also have said, that yes, this generation of 21st century is really very skilled and very sharp, and they have a lot of exposure. But then with the notification coming in and how to concentrate and focus, what we do, we make the children, fix a time for their exercise. In a daily schedule, they must have a time for their exercise. They should work out so that the blood circulation improves and your brain also gets the energy and that get. And then the sleeping time is also to be specified, that a minimum 6 to 7 hours of sleep or 8 hours of sleep is must for a child to focus and concentrate. As we know that human brain can concentrate 20 minutes. So in the classroom also, what we do, if it is a tiresome day after the break time, we give them 5 minutes to meditate. Meditation, train your brain by doing some meditation, and get your games on, like Sudoku or Scramble or any kind of such games are to be encouraged, because children would like, after one say a serious subject going on, and they should be given a break. After that, okay, let's play Sudoku, let's play some jigsaw puzzle or Scramble, or maybe crosswords or something, or clap, or maybe let's take them out to nature, talk to the nature, because nature is the great inspiration for children, and there we can conduct how they can focus and concentrate. And spending time in nature is must for everyone, because nature is the beautiful gift given by God to us. That's very good. And then sometimes take a break, have a me time for yourself. When we are occupied with so many things, child is occupied, English teacher saying something, math teacher saying something, science teacher saying something, the children, they get worked up. They should be given me time, how to come to themselves. And when they have their me time, during me time, yes, monitoring by parents should be done at home, and in the school it should be monitored by teachers by keeping an eye on them, that what is the me time. I hope they are not watching something such sites they are not watching, which they should not be watching it. So we should try to channelize them in a proper way. And then some children are, music is a great healer. So they should be encouraged to listen to some kind of an instrument or some kind of music, whichever they enjoy. So whether it is a pop music, whether it is hip hop or a classical or some instrumental, whatever there. So another important thing which we focus is the diet. They should be given, they should be advised to take such diet which should give them lot of energy, all vitamins and something. And of course, it should be of their taste also. Because children would go in for pizza, burger, noodles and this. But yes, noodles, one can be made of rava also. One can be made of, multi-grain noodles are also available. So we should encourage that, yes, they...
Thank you so much, Renu ma'am. The first 3 minutes were over, but we'll try to come back to you. I think some very important elements in the discussion. Diet पे बहुत सारा focus, nature पे focus, Scrabble जैसे games को involve करना, कहीं ना कहीं after every serious class, give them an engagement that they like. Giving them a stimulus of their choice after continuous intervals of some serious work that they've already done. Again, content curation being the challenge कि अगर me time दे रहे हैं तो वो me time कौन moderate कर रहा है? क्या वो बच्चा खुद कर रहा है या कोई parent या कोई बैठा है उसको curate करने के लिए? So thank you so much, Renu ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. But before I invite the next speaker, I think उनसे एक बहुत specific question पूछना चाहेंगे. The perception that gets created out of a Rashtriya military school is that they're super disciplined people. So does discipline really improve focus or it deproves it? या जो इतने super fit बच्चे आपके पास RMS में हैं, क्या वो बच्चे सच में उनके साथ ये challenges हैं या वो challenges थोड़े से फर्क हैं या आपने कुछ नया efficient solution निकाल लिया है that works in your school? A very warm welcome to Lieutenant Colonel Shyam Krishna TP, the principal of Rashtriya Military School from Dholpur, Rajasthan. Sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Daksh, for inviting me for this thing, and good evening to Dr. Prem and Mr. Vincent Dacosta, my IPSC counterparts. Thank you all the principals and the dignitary and the speakers here today. Of course, the question which I will directly come to the point straight away, which Daksh now just raised here. We all are, of course, no doubt, the military schools, the boys are, the main focus is one of the thing is the physicals. So if you say in that particular thing that physicals will really improve the discipline, not exactly, because there may be exceptions on those cases, because physical is one of the thing in military schools, and study is also one of the things along with the co-curricular activities, overall personality development of every student. We call them as a cadet. So when a student or a cadet enters into this institution in 6th class and going out in 12th class, the overall output of the individual is changing. For example, instead of getting higher marks, he is not behind 95 and 99% of the mark. Whereas he is sometimes in 80%, sometimes between 90-92%. However, his outlook towards the outer world is entirely different than any other thing, which is what I noticed in the last 2.5 years in this institution. Because whomsoever I interacted, 3 courses moved out during my time. So this is one of the main thing which I would like to say, that we should not be behind marks. We should not be behind something that will actually decrease the concentration, decrease the output of the boy or a girl for as a better citizen or a better product which a nation actually requires. Because things are entirely different. Now getting 99 point marks will not help the individual to get a better perspective, career opportunities, a job outside. So we have to concentrate on those aspects first of all. Second one, since the point is with respect to the concentration and how we can move above, the detoxify digitally is one of the main thing which we can focus on. In our institution, it is totally, we have only areas where we can go for cafe and means internet cafe for browsing, otherwise language lab, computer labs and all those things. However, there is no mobile phone oblique, such type of digital things are allowed in such our institution. So in that perspective, we are totally free, the cadets are using. Of course, few will be secretly kept it in their cabins and everything that they can use. However, it is not permitted in the institution. So one point which is already projected here is we are excused from that. First of all, know this thing, and of course the hand has come, so I will just wind up it fast. We have to prioritize the work first, and whether it is the boy or a girl or a teacher. Just like Prem sir has just pointed out, if the teacher has got the capacity to attract a boy or a girl for 40 minutes with his subject knowledge and the knack of teaching with the appropriate methodology and techniques and skills, no doubt, to an extent, I can say 80% you can make the boy or girl disciplined and concentrated in the institution or the classrooms. So that is one thing. Another thing, just like brought out here, practicing yoga and meditation. We also started these type of things, just like we are doing too much of physicals. However, meditation is another good thing which can improve the concentration level. So first thing first has to be find out, and what the actual boy require, we have to find out, and we have to look into that particular aspect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think observation from the right kind of people that only physical won't give you the solutions from notification. Uske beyond जाने के लिए, there's a lot of effort that has to be put into place. Yes, they will play a role in it. There will be a role for discipline as well. But I think finding a way for digital detox in a Rashtriya military school, it's easier to say that no mobile phones on the campus. But when a GD Goenka wants to say this, I think it will be very difficult because they might not be able. Day boarding schools may, this will be a challenge that have a digital detox. It can only happen if the parent agrees to it. And that not only agrees to it, the parent dies for it, that yes, I want to do it. That's a priority in my life. But again, a very important element, let's teach prioritizing as a skill. It is very important that it must reach teenagers and all the students. Thank you so much, sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Vincent DeCosta, the principal for Sharda Residential School from Kunji Bettu, Udupi, Karnataka. Sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you. I am extremely happy to be here. According to me, ours is also a residential institution, but still I have worked for several years in that day school, and my opinion is a teacher who enters the class top to toe, tip to tip, he should be tip top. At that time, the children will be in a proper way to get the tips from the teacher. When a teacher is fully set up to teach in an innovative way, the students can get set up. Otherwise, students will get upset. So children should not be upset. That is our aim. So let us set up. In what way? Innovative way. There are a lot of ways of teaching. Earlier, when I was student, our teachers, did they not make us sit tight and feel with them, listen to them? We wept with them. We got terrified, and lot of things did they not do without anything? And if we have that type of capacities, that type of attracting the children, surely children will be with us. Of course, what you see more, and first, that attracts you more. Earlier, it was TV. Now, mobiles are scattered everywhere. Even on the platform of the kitchen also, you can see one mobile of mommy. And what they see, every time they see, aren't they attracted? Surely, anybody will get attracted. And naturally, hand goes there. No one can stop it. And now, in that place, if we replace it with something, then the children can divert their attention, and slowly they can get motivated. And one more sad thing is that today our internet is having very great speed. Like I was asking, what G is going on? Sir, from 4G now we are going to 5G. And they have forgotten the stronger network, that is Mataji, Pitaji, Guruji. So this networking has to work when in the childhood days, these Mataji, Pitaji and Guruji, these join together and tell some of the things which are very important, which touches their heart, and slowly they concentrate on the words of parents, and at that time when they come to the class, they will concentrate on the teacher. Finally, they will gain more. Keep away mobiles and gadgets and don't use it in front of the children. Naturally, children will also come to our life, and home timetable should be given to the children. Now, if it is day school, only school, we have a timetable, we go accordingly and they do everything. At home, they don't, because they don't have home timetable at all. So, yeah, home timetable, if it is prepared by a teacher and in the parent-teachers meeting, and if we guide the parents to follow this according to their setup, let them give a setup of timetable so that children will not be upset at home. And morning walk, yoga, of course, we are residential. We are having morning walk compulsorily. And after they come from walk, we have yoga, and even morning games are there. Swimming is there. They become alert. And even night, whether they go to bed in time and they have slept enough or not, we check so that next day they can concentrate in the class. Because if they don't sleep at the time, they cannot concentrate. And evening prep also, we hold it very systematically. And children should be involved in a lot of discussions, which are very interesting topics. Even the teacher can create something very interesting by discussions and new way of some teaching. Surely, children, we cannot blame, because what they see, they do, and what we do, they do.
Thank you so much, Vincent sir. And yes, emulation is a very important part. कि imitation भी होगा, बच्चा emulate भी करेगा. जो आपने किया है, he'll bring that in his or her life. It is very important to give them a kind of a schedule. School के अंदर timetable है, घर पे अगर नहीं है तो सबसे जल्दी आ जाए, जितना जल्दी आ जाए, it will help them. Morning walk, schedule, good sleep, ये सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो कि इस पूरे process में help करेंगी. They will all become catalyst to concentration. But do we really think that the current generation can really have a digital detox? We have listened to all the opening thoughts from everyone. Now we are going towards the conclusion of this session. Before we conclude the session, just a small question to everyone, and everyone can answer it. I'll just open the floor and you can answer anyone, whoever wants. Do you think, or do you believe that yes, this set of generation that is currently studying in school is ready and will ever be able to have a digitally detoxed life? Because the earlier generations could imagine a time where technology was not a part of life. Even in their profession, it was not a part of their life. Now, do you think that do they really have such a possibility, or there is something that has to be developed far beyond this? So over to you. It's now an open floor. I think Karnataka want to say something. Sir, over to you. You can share your thoughts. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Of course, we can do. If we wish, we can do. No doubt on that. If a boy who is coming, that's why I just told you physical, a boy who is coming in this institution was not in a position to run 10-kilometer cross country or 12-kilometer cross country. By the time he reached on 8th class or 9th class, he could easily come sometimes better than 12th class. So if somebody is practicing, because that is why practice makes habit. So we all know Shivratri, we are going to have that one day. We are toxing, the digital toxic means instead of digital, it is the physical detoxifying is going on. Somebody is quitting for liquor or cigarettes for a month or a week or a day. It is actually detoxifying. So we can do, provided we should have a good command over us, own wish, own will, and then we have to focus on that. So it is, we can do. I'm no doubt on that, and we practiced many times. I myself practiced. I myself didn't touch phone a day because I still have that tendency. We all know we used to check every now and then, every tightly. 80 to 100 times we take the phone to check any messages come, anything, any notification. So it's quite normal nowadays. However, otherwise it will be a handicap. However, we can do that, and we practiced it, and we have to focus on that. We can, and so that will be possible. It's not like that.
Are we able to nurture and garner that kind of willpower is the real question. That yes, are we ready to do that kind of a commitment? So anybody who wants to add next, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, I can do that. Digital detoxification is needed, but then we have to create simultaneously more interesting things which can divert and encourage them to have that kind of a willpower. Yes, we should not be. So if some other interesting thing is going on, I'm sure they would certainly avoid. But then at the same time, we fix up, be and motivate them. Yes, okay, do this thing or this finish this task, and then after that you can use the mobile for or a digital platform But totally, taking away from the digital platform will not serve the nation, because as artificial intelligence coming in and we are going in for AI, and various boards are encouraging that yes, AI has to, which is the need of the hour. So that is also, we have to tell them, yes, they should be, because some of them will will be going forward in this particular field also. So, it depends how we utilize it. We have to make them understand. And at the same time, like it was said by one of the principals, what we do, they do. So we have to set ourselves as a role model, how we do it, and then we can motivate.
Absolutely, creating an atmosphere of inspiration, that you give them content and things that they can emulate and replicate. I think Vincent sir wants to say something.
Yeah. Today, we are insisting children, don't do this, don't do that. Our problem after the epidemic, our problem is that don't touch it, don't do that. Instead of that, we are not telling what to do. Let us convert into do this, do that, and let us have a handful of activities which they can do. Do this. When we increase that number, that I think the craze for other things will reduce, and concentration they can make on these points what we tell. We have to attract them. There we are failing. So that is my opinion.
Yeah, so we are not giving the right kind of stimuli. We are not giving the right kind of direction, giving them more interesting activities to do that they may, avoid technology. Yes, over to Janet, ma'am. Ma'am, over to you.
I too feel that detoxification is possible to some extent, till greatest extent, till the age of 15. That needs to happen, because the child do not know, their ability to think is getting lost. Even research study says that too much of addicted to the gadgets is equivalent to drugs. Worse than that, the side effect. They become so adamant and irritating, all kinds of it. So we, at the younger age itself, we have to develop a habit of reading. So if parents cooperate with that, that's what I say. Even parents also should, to some extent, they should keep away the phone. They should sacrifice for the child. Of course, in schools, nobody will be encouraged, because teachers also will not be allowed to use in any of the schools. I don't think that is happening. Then so many creative activities. Child's brain can be diverted towards a lot of creative activities, creative thinking, just to conduct some kind of small quiz, and daily some or the other activities. School also can do it. Praise them a lot. Praise them. Dance. Those who are interested in dancing. So spending so much time for all this will help. Dramatization. All this will help them to keep away from this and divert it to another channel. Some kind of sports, which for boys like football, even for girls, football, throw ball, all physical activities will definitely help them to come out of it. Once they go home, they don't have time to spend for all that. So that's fine. I think it is possible if both school and parents cooperate.
Absolutely, a lot more cooperation to come into the ecosystem. Yes, Bharti ma'am, you want to add something?
Yeah, I do agree with Janet ma'am that give them so much of stimuli that they are involved in that. And I mean, they are too busy to think of anything else. Secondly, like we have intermittent fasting. So we should have some intermittent sort of digital intoxication, where we take off the mobile for a few hours, especially children who are addicted to it. If we remove it fully, then they are agitated, they react to it. So it has to be done in a gradual process. First of all, we should see that they don't get addicted, but in case they are, then we need to find the means where taking it off slowly and giving them the alternative, which is also very lucrative, things which they love. Even if it is watching a movie, there are many educational movies also. But spending time with the child is important. Nowadays, parents do not have that much of time to spend. So phone becomes the best replacement, I would say, for a parent. Parents find that, okay, child is not disturbing, that is enough. Even if it is a 2-year-old child, mobile is handed over to small kids nowadays. So parents have to be involved, because in schools, we do not permit the mobiles. In any of the schools, I don't think they would ferment. But what happens at home is also equally important.
Absolutely. So trying to find out a way for intermittent technological fasting and detoxification. And when we do it, we have to do it in a gradual manner, giving them some more good stimuli, because a big challenge that we can see around is there are a lot of barriers that we put. We don't give them new ways to explore. I think Gurnam ji wants to add something, so over to you.
Yeah, Daksh. So, again, our speakers have already spoken about it. I think channelizing their creativity becomes very, very important, because, we have to admit that every child has some creativity. So can we bring out that creativity in terms of, whatever opportunities we provide them? So it could be dance, it could be music, it could be theater, it could be games, football, singing, whatever. So I think that becomes very, very important. And of course, the aspect that we need to bring in the human element, right? And understand that, technology is an enabler at the end of the day. We cannot, be a slave to technology. It's an enabler. I know, we are talking about the chat GPTs all around, and that's the future, they say, but end of the day, the human connect has to be there. You cannot move away from the human connect. So that becomes very, very important. And as a, ecosystem, it is important that we stay connected, because what I see a lot of things, around students is they are not able to open up. We need to be available to them and allow them to speak up, because a lot of them, just go into their shell. They don't really communicate. I think that becomes very, very important, where even as, K-12 or higher education institutions, we need to communicate with them. That becomes very, very important. I just wanted to say that.
Absolutely. I think a very important point that also must be considered, that this is the first time in human history when, we have been doing these sessions for the last 2 years, but when we look at the kind of communication that has been done in education, this is the first time in human history it is getting very difficult for humans to prove that they're better than technology, since the point chat GPT has come in, because that is being considered the tipping point of it. That's where technology is trumping humans. So are we in that stage that we can afford it? I think Dr. Prem wants to add something. Prem, sir, over to you.
It has been very interesting. I'd like to add one thing very important. Certain children, we have to recognize from the very beginning, certain children are introvert. Some are silent workers, and some are, they have got a nature of speaking. So teacher has to pay attention to all kinds of the children. And to what I say and I treat to my children is, nothing is impossible in this world. You make it possible by working hard, by planning, by getting it executed properly in that way. If we are training our children from the very beginning in this spirit, of course, a day will come when they will become great teachers in their own way.
Absolutely. I think Shyam sir wants to add something. Sir, over to you.
Yeah.
You want to
Thank
add
you.
something?
Thank you. Recently, just now, other speakers told that digital detoxification doesn't mean that totally moving away from the gadgets of whatever accessories, mobile phones and iPads and all those things which we have. We have to restrict the things. For that, a particular monitoring has to be there, whether it is inside the classroom, outside the classroom, at home, wherever it is. We need to have a monitoring. Just like I have a daughter. My daughter is in 3rd standard. Totally addicted to TV because she want to have a dance on that. She do choreography on that. But now look, she is creative. She is doing her dance. At the same time, she slightly get addicted to TV. So how to tackle these things has to be. So we have kept a time limit. Just like only 1 hour you have to watch TV and do this dance and all those things. Then you go to. So we have to monitor till the time they have their own level of thinking that, okay, what to take and what not to take at a particular, more than a particular level. So that is very much essential.
So the monitoring becomes very critical to this conversation, that how do you monitor and what kind of checks and balancing are you putting into place? Janet ma'am, I would totally want to give you time, but we're nearly at the conclusion. So since the call is coming to an end, we at Blub World, while we started the organization, we felt something very simple. Humans, if we try to look around and try to look at ourselves, most of our learning has only come from looking at others. We are people who imitate. We as a species only learn out of imitation. So we said, when people will be imitating, let's find inspiring stories. And the problem is, whenever you want to inspire children or teenagers, our stories are very old. And that's where we as an institution were really born. Every month, we try to find out teenagers who are doing amazingly well in life. and share their stories with many more teens. This gives them a good kind of a kick, a good kind of stimulus that what should they be doing. While doing this around 2 years back, in partnership with UNESCO, we built the world's first Parliament of Teenagers, which right now is in its second term. Every year, 100 teenagers get elected to the World Teen Parliament, where we train them, mentor them, and fund them so that they can work on ideas of world improvement. The basic reason behind all of this is pretty simple, that they need to understand why is the world and the community around them critical, and how do they contribute to it. And the best part among all of this is that it's an absolutely free initiative by the Blub World Foundation. So nobody pays anything, but what they realize is that they haven't paid anything and we fund them. They have to understand the idea of public trust. When people trust in you, are you worthy enough to carry that and build something amazing in your life? And that's the way we are trying to create some more inspiring stories at the Teen Parliament. So if you have any teenagers who are doing amazingly well, share their stories, because that's the perfect kind of imitation that you want happening all around you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the Blub World Web Talk. This was the 214th episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, and if you want to attend the future sessions, open your audio, say a big yes, and thank you so much for being here with us. Have an amazing evening ahead. Namaste.